Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Scaling Effect. Thank you for joining us for an evening of Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Aile, I go by D&D, and I will be your Dungeon Master tonight. We are thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg. This game follows the events of A Divergent Dream, and we are joined by some familiar faces and some not so familiar. In this adventure, our heroes will learn more about the incoming dangers that the Elder Evils mean to this plane. We may, or not, visit the Feywild. For those who are new to Dungeons and Dragons, everyone here plays a fantasy character in a fantasy universe. The 4 players each have their own unique character with sheets that tell them who they are, what they can do, their deepest secrets, and what dice to roll. They will mostly be rolling a 20-sided die to see if they succeed or not. 20s are good, 1s are hilariously bad. And while they play the characters, everything else is played by me. People, monsters, weather, you name it. Between me describing the world and story, the players describing what they want to do, and some dice to, represent chaos, we will tell our story. Now, let's meet our players.
Hi, I'm Evie, I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Winnow, who uses they, them pronouns. Winnow is a Way of Mercy monk, and is also a changeling that does not have any changeling abilities due to a curse, due to some misadventures that may have ended up with a previous party very dead, and Winnow very cursed by some otherworldly being. We'll see if that pops up at all, but they are currently on their way to meet their official familiar, Sarah, in the next town over, but who knows what hijinks will happen between now and then.
Hello, I'm Josh. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Garnot Silrian, who also uses he, him pronouns. Garnot is a hobgoblin psi fighter, psionic whack and slash type of person, who has been travelling around, getting lost quite a lot, to be honest, around the Sword Coast, ended up in Waterdeep, went to a play, ended up working at Nexus Arts, sadly went to a funeral for his dad, and then got hired by Testimonial to take them to Baldur's Gate. And as always, he is accompanied by his best friend, Roger. What shenanigans will we get up to?
Hi everyone, I'm Steve. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Testimonial Rattleward, a Mark of Scribing gnome wizard who also uses he, him pronouns and is never far from his Wand of Wonder or his pen and notebook, taking notes and maps on all the adventures.
Hello, I'm Michael. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Professor Jaxus. He is a professor of the Feywild in theory. Maybe we'll find out whether that's in practice or not over the next few episodes.
Beautiful, right? Now, here's a word from our sponsors.
Check out our sponsor, Phoenix Dice, for carefully crafted click-clack math rocks for use in your favorite TTRPGs. Phoenix Dice work with recycled goods, meaning their products and packaging are all made from sustainable materials. You can go to phoenixdice.com to check their entire selection, and if you put !dice in the chat right now, you can enter yourself into a raffle with the chance to win some dice for yourself.
We are delighted to be sponsored by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, a Dungeons and Dragons strategy video game that brings together D&D characters from novels, adventures, and multiple live streams into a single grand adventure. You can select your heroes and formation, then battle through waves of monsters for free on PC, phone, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And if you put !code into chat, you can get yourself a free election chest.
Check out our amazing supporters at Elderwood Academy, who make beautifully crafted gaming-themed accessories, including spellbook deck boxes like this. Ooh, look at it, disguised like an arcane ancient tome. They do hex chest dice boxes, scroll and codex dice towers, matching rolling trays, and all sorts of cool stuff. You can make your own, pick your own designs together with their online designer at elderwoodacademy.com.
Thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. You can join us from as little as one of your local currency by following the link in chat or in the description below. Our D20 Club are the best. They have created a fan Discord for us, as well as a wiki page to keep track of all the Roll Together stories. And you can find that at rolltogether.fandom.com.
We are happy to be using Hero Forge and their fully customizable minis, which you can see on our overlays. And you can go check them out at heroforge.com.
We are using D&D Beyond. During our games, you can check out our character sheets with !characters in Twitch chat below.
You can find us across social media by searching for Roll Together RPG or by following the links in chat or in the description below. If you can't join us live and you want to see our previous episodes, you can catch up straight afterwards on Twitch, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider by searching for Roll Together RPG.
Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans and GNC positive, and we encourage and champion trans and GNC players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are a different gender on their own. We aim to avoid misgendering, but we acknowledge that it does happen. We have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. Remember, if we miss an instance of misgendering, we are open to being corrected. So please do let us know if something like this happens. Check out !safety in the chat for content warning and some of the safety tools that we use in our TTRPG safety toolkit. And now, let us begin. And welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us in game 2 of A Scaling Effect. And just a short summary of what happened last session. We started with a frenetic and beautiful combat where our players displayed all their abilities. And we learned something about Winnow. They are being offered to join Gorgonor. What for, we still don't know. Maybe we will learn more about it tonight. We also let Professor Jaxis and Garnot to lead the party into the forest. And following both approaches, we end up in some beautiful location that we thought was close to the Feywild. Well, practically, it was close to the Feywild. Just not the Feywild that we are used to. We also, with the help of testimonial, discovered that Garnot movement was describing a huge pattern which encompassed some tattoos that we have seen. Up to now, we have seen Winnow's design into this map that testimonial drew, and also the tattoo that Ebony, one Panther person that we learned as well a little bit about this person. The tattoo that they were using is also present in this pattern. And finally, when we got close to this crosspath between material plane and the Feywild, we cross, but we actually end up in the Feydark. Probably there is few knowledge about it among our characters, but here we are to explore what needs to be explored. So, Professor Jaxis, Garnot, Testimonial, Winnow, you are in this location that looks more like a cave, but it's weird because there is a lot of trees growing here and lots of bioluminescent fungi that keeps the place quite lit, but also it gives you like a gloomy effect because it's just dim light, but it's beautiful. You immediately feel the effect of the Feywild in your beings. So maybe you feel a little tickling here and there, but yeah, here you are.
Oh, I think I've made a mistake. Maybe I should just leave now. Like the Feywild itself is dangerous, but the Feydark, oh, this is just horrific. You guys go on, and I'll turn around, and I'm sure I'll catch up with you one day.
No. You come back. What? Sorry. What is the Feydark?
How much would I have read up on that?
I guess not much about like in detail, like as much as you know from the Feywild, but you know that everything that happens in the material plane has a reflection here in the Feywild. That includes the Underdark, which means that locations in the Underdark in the material plane may be present here as well. The Underdark being this system of caves and tunnels, kind of a maze that is underneath the material plane. Not everywhere, but those caves host or foster danger and some certain kind of specific races, mainly like gnomes and things that lives on the lives on underground, and the reflection of that might be just like the Fey version of that.
You really have nothing to be alarmed about, Professor. I mean, we were comfortable in the forest, and now we're in this feels like the Underdark of home. I mean, it's not the Underdark of home. My feet don't tingle like quite so much at home, but this is a place where we could stage any number of adventures, make any number of discoveries. This should be a shining moment for our combined paper on tracing pathways through the Feywild. Aren't you excited? I'm very excited.
I don't mean to insult you, but the Underdark in our plane is terrifying enough. Can you not picture? Everything I've ever read about this place is absolutely terrible. And
but your field research surely has proven you wrong.
I have never been to the Feydark for good reason.
I envy you the chance to enjoy it for the first time. I mean, how many times? I've seen thousands of plays, and you never get to see it the first time. So we're in for a treat, Professor.
But Cyclops and Spriggans and all those. No, thank you.
Professor Jaxis, you are an Eladrin, and you work with the seasons. Imagine being a being that relies on the position of the earth and the sun underground, with one of those elements missing in your equation. It feels a little bit weird just to like, if you would spend a lot of time here, how would you know when the season of the time passes? So it's a little bit unsettling. It's not frightening, but you don't feel completely comfortable.
Oh, he's frightened.
Yes. But that, remember that you gave your shoes to Winnow. So you barefoot, right? And you can feel like a really funny feeling on your feet. It's like, I'm not sure if any one of you have been in one of those treatments where a lot of fishes, but you put your feet in a tank and a lot of fishes like eat the dead skin. It's something like that. It something feels like the earth is taking something out of you. It's not like you're gonna die, but it's claiming whatever organic matter the earth can, or the soil in itself. It's not that it's alive, but you can feel out.
No. Would I read about what this particular thing is?
Make me a history check or history or arcana. It's up to you.
History or arcana? Which one is? They are the same. I imagine history. Okay. That is a dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, you didn't read the whole paper, but at least the abstract about primordial mud, which is really abundant on the Feydark. And this has really regenerative properties, able to cure some, healing properties. But if you are exposed to it for a long time, it will decompose you into primordial elements. So it's more like something that accelerates healing, but also accelerates the cycle of life. Like I'm gonna nurture you, but then I'm also at some point want that back. So if I were you, I will get shoes.
Immediately screams and jumps into Garnet's arms.
As you jump into Garnot's arms, the thing that Garnot's kind of doing this at the minute is you sort of find yourself in his arms, and well, I don't know anybody else, but has anybody else's appearance changed at all? And as you look at Garnot, his red skin has taken on a much darker tinge to it. The black tattoos that he has on his upper arms have begun to take on a more purple hue. The white parts on his hair and his eyes have turned completely purple.
Professor Jackson screams again and jumps off and jumps into Winnow's arms.
Who does not catch you.
You just remember that Winnow is a text-based character.
Primal mud. Winnow, I know it was a fair tax for my uncouth behaviour, but please could I have my shoes back? I don't want to be turned into mud.
Okay, just because the mud here does seem to be a little bit weird, but you really should also consider wearing socks sometime, just for hygiene's sake. Takes the shoes and just kind of gives them back.
And slips them on very sheepishly.
You notice they shined a little bit.
I imagine that you dust off your feet, and it's like baby face. It's just soft as hell. It clearly have done some job on the calluses of your feet. Beautiful, just and for free. You tie up, you lace on your shoes, and something that you will also remember about your reading is that this place is like full of danger. Like everything here is want to eat you, like from the soil to some flora and obviously some monsters. But this place is very quiet. It's just like, what is everyone?
I'm gonna go over to Garnot and just kind of try to inspect, like, well, you seem to be taking on a darker hue. Do you feel any different?
I had a bit of a tingly sensation when I got out of the water there, but other than that, I feel it's not. I mean, my headaches have gone, if that helps. But I think they have anyway. They've gone for the moment at least.
Maybe they were caused by a build-up of some sort of power that has now become manifest in here?
Oh, it could be.
Like a release of pressure.
It could be. I mean, my dad did say that my appearance did change when he took me out of the Feywild when I was a baby, but I didn't think much of it. I didn't really understand what he meant. So,
you look awesome.
Thanks.
Really
and I smile,
cool.
And you see that my teeth are now jagged.
Oh, hey, Matchy! Lifts up the mask a little bit.
I just caught my tongue.
You get used to it. Wait, do I look any different?
Professor Jaxes and testimonial. Make me a either nature or history check. Your choice.
Nature, history. I'll go
Also,
with
we
history.
know. Also, we know. Either any of those.
History check for me, a
Nature
26.
Oh,
-1 for both of them, so that's an 11.
It takes a while for like you're just making the maths, and at some point, like almost in the same, the two of you, like Eureka and bugbears. The idea of a bugbear comes to your mind. It's like, nah, and then you just let it go. When we introduced the scene last game, told you that there was a sort of almost man-made trail made of not made, but it seems like the roots of the trees have been put in a certain disposition that looks like a bridge or like a trail. It even has like a hand rail for you to take, and just a very faint light at the end. But you might just interpret that as a lot of fungi lighting the way.
Very well curated entrance
I'm
to a mystical realm.
so well curated. I'm almost looking for signs, like having been to the Underdark before. Testimonial would look around for configurations of roots or wall carvings.
Make me a perception, or maybe a perception check.
Perception check. That's a 2.
It's dim light here, so as much as you want to, like, okay, using your logic and your brain is like, okay, where would I put a sign for someone that has just arrived? It should be here, but it's not there. Or maybe here, but it's not there. And you sort of lose your mind into this, trying to find out this sign, and you trip with one of the roots. And you don't fall to the ground. Something catches you. And suddenly you are like being held by a couple of arms, but you don't know where those arms come from until it sort of shakes and a lot of soil falls to the ground, as if somebody would have been just buried into the ground, catches you. Okay. Oh, I'm really sorry. I sometimes don't know I put my roots. And it's just like a very friendly young dryad. And this dryad, so dryads are usually like these female presenting trees. Mm-hmm. And you will expect some leaves on the hair and etc. But this one, instead of having those beautiful green leaves, it has like clusters of fungi, but those that are like crest, I think. So just very, very close to the skin, and she looks beautiful. Most of the fungi on the hair shine with like purplish light, and you can see from the waist down where it should be legs, there is more like a cluster of roots that look malleable. And do you assume that this is how he moves around? We know you quickly notice one tattoo. It's very small. It's just along the left arm. And she just puts back testimonial on his feet. And she says, welcome everybody. I guess that's what you were expecting. My name is Sarah.
Your name's what?
Sarah.
Hey, Winnow, we know somebody called Sarah.
We know someone called Sarah.
No, but like in Sara.
S-A.
I
Oh, the
spelled
boring
different.
way. I mean the pretty way.
I guess. I like it. I think it's beautiful.
I'm glad you like it. Can I? So, we kind of that tattoo.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you. It just took you like 2 weeks longer than expected, but you know, time here is weird.
Are you, or are you someone else?
I am someone else, but if that's what you mean, you're talking about him, right?
Yeah, we met another who
Yeah.
had been taken
Well,
over.
He's waiting for you, and I'm here to take you to him.
Do I have an option to not go?
You may not come, but you are here already. But there is some stuff that you should know about the situation. We all heard about Ebony. He was one of the good ones. And yeah, when I say one of the good ones is one of the friendly ones, he didn't try to damage you, right?
It was literally inside of his mouth.
Yeah, but he was told to, you know. When everything happened, we all were forced to come here. And some people tried not to, and there were consequences. Then we all were explaining why we are here, and some people was angry, some people was okay. My position is a little bit more like everything is gonna die at some point, so what the hell? Cycle of life, you know. But yeah, some people is very angry at you, and they might try to kill you. So that's why I need to take you safely, if I can.
Right, but you... So, sorry, are you under the power of Gorgonor?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the person that was really angry at me and is gonna try and kill me if I come with you.
No. I'm just here to take you safely. And there might be others like us, pointing at the tattoo, that will actually try to kill you.
One moment, please. Huddle, group huddle, group huddle.
I'm a bit confused by all of this because they're saying that the Tabaxi person was not really friendly and all that, but didn't they bring like 2 big rare things to kill us? So what happens to the 3 of us if they take you?
Yeah, exactly. There was evil intent there, and they keep saying, take me safely to somewhere, but she's under the power of Gorgonor, who is very angry with me and might want to kill me, but is also one of the friendly ones? I have no idea what this girl's going on about.
I don't.
The motivations are conflicted.
Yes, I don't know much about deities, so I don't know where this accent's gone. It's the Feydark has gotten into me throat a bit. Right, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I've got no idea. This whole higher being thing is well above my head. Do you know anything, Roger? He don't know anything either, sorry.
I am so sorry. I did not mean to drag you guys into this. This was just supposed to be escort mission. Should we just jump through the pool again? Just keep you guys safe.
I mean, admittedly, it was kind of our idea to sort of, jump in and be like, we need to address the issue that's on the other side because we were getting a bit lost before. So maybe this Grogorog will be able to tell us, like, the way out sort of thing.
I think a better question is, Winnow, do you want to do this yourself? Because, I mean, if you say the word, I'd be quite happy to jump back through the pool and I'd look back, probably. But if you want to do this, I feel like we are obliged morally to support you. But a friendly warning when you deal with any of us folk in general is whatever they say is generally the opposite, and whatever the opposite is generally still wrong. So I don't know if you can take this person at face value as such. They're making it sound far too simple. It's concerning, and I don't trust anybody very well, so that might be a more of a... Anyway, testimonial?
For them, I mean, I think the only way forward is through, and our escort mission hasn't changed. So we, for the moment, have more eyes than Sarah has, so we can keep an eye on them as we walk through and look at for things with more eyes. So I think this might be at least an efficient way of going, and I think perhaps while we follow this path, we could perhaps leave a trail or something for us to find our ways back should we have to quickly separate ourselves from them and run back to the pool.
Okay, trail sounds like a good idea. So the consensus is we go along with this, even though it really feels like I'm walking into a trap, and I'm sorry to bring you guys along into my bullshit that I actually wanted to be on a more educated platform on before I started dealing with it. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense as long as us coming with you isn't like a threat or anything to yourself or to us or anything. Then, like, I mean, what I mean by that is if we say to this lovely dryad person here now, can my friends come, and they go no, and then try to kill us, sort of thing.
Sarah? So when Ebony came, there were also some constructs that were actually attacking my friends. Is that gonna keep happening if we go with you?
No, you come with me. But I don't control the ones that are angry at you.
Are there any nearby? I mean, I was lost in thought. I didn't notice you. Are there any constructs?
I could try to find out, but I'm actually not keen into using the tattoo. The eyes are not friendly.
Do the eyes happen every time you use it down here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, okay, well that's an entire weapon just out of my arsenal.
But so the eyes, when you fought with Ebony, there was no eyes on you. There was eyes on Ebony, but not eyes on you.
Yeah.
There was just like a glimpse for a second, but nothing happened.
Okay. But you get the eyes.
I do get the eyes.
Okay. Everyone, if you're happy to come with me, please do. And I promise to keep all of my ki for healing, because we're gonna make it out of this, but it seems very, there's only one way to go, and it looks like going backwards we're just gonna get lost, and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're all right. We agreed to come with you. Sarah, I've got a question for you. If you'd entertain it for me, as it means you seem to know a lot about this Grogorog. Does the size of the tattoo that the person has does that matter? Is that like an indication of how supportive they are, or how much control that this entity has over them? Because I noticed that yours is rather small compared to Winnow's and the Tabaxi person. Just wondering.
The power of the tattoos still remain the same as when they were put onto us. So when they first inscribe into our skin, that power still remain the same. But the more you use them, the more the influence of Gorgonor happens.
Right.
The tattoo may take over your body, but that doesn't make it more or less powerful. It's just more about the influence of Gorgonor onto you.
Oh,
At least I can only use it once a day, I guess.
yeah. But that is true, and you've not had it for that long, so the influence might not be as bad as what we think. I mean, definitely if you've not had any eyeballs come out at all.
No. But there is some people that they have just surrendered to it and embrace the power that comes with it. Some people, I hope we don't find any, but they're just constantly covered in eyes. They are probably not themselves anymore.
Can the eyes be closed? Can they be?
Sorry, say again.
Can the eyes be closed? Can their gaze be turned away from
That's a really
from
good
the mark?
question. I have never experienced that, but I guess there should be a way. Everything could be. You can see that she's now thinking about it. Like maybe there is a way to sort this out.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. So I'm been led to believe that this tattoo and grudges that certain entities may have against me, rightly so, to be honest. I also have a bit of a curse with me for certain abilities that I cannot access anymore, and someone said something that made me think that that was the case for other people with the tattoo. Have you got any other kind of limitations?
As a druid, I haven't been able to wild shape in a while.
I am
Thought it was
really
a
sorry.
kind of binding. Don't worry. I mean, what would be the point of me being angry at you?
Insight check.
Insight check.
Okay, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
23. She is lying. She's very angry at you.
Oh no!
But you also notice the like, I rather take you safe because that's to my convenience, right? Like, I'm angry at you, but I'm so afraid of Gorgonor. So you can you can read it between the lines that there is more to her objectives, but she's been sincere, telling you, I will take you safe.
Okay, I guess we have a way. By the way, this is all based on an accident. You should really be angry with Gorgonor. I've said I'm sorry a million times. I'm just trying my best here.
She says, we know. As in trying to make a war game with your name, and we know. So she start walking, or whatever motion roots can do. It's more like an octopi movement. And she heads to this sort of bridge, and I assume you follow, and it's just so dark. How do I put it? Like, so the Feywild would be like beguiling and almost overwhelming all your senses. But in here is most of it is darkness. But the few lights that you can see create these kind of patterns of light, and at some point you can even see that there is creatures, large creatures that also are a little bit bioluminescent, or maybe they have clusters of fungi on them, but you can just see them passing, maybe flying or just going out of a swamp and going back. It's beautiful, but it's also a little bit unsettling, because the fact that you cannot actually see much here is like, what the hell is going on? Is this thing's gonna eat me? Who knows? You walk for about like 10 minutes and the scene doesn't change much. You can just keep on this trail. But at some point, Sarah talks to Professor Jaxis and says, you are from this plane. Well, not necessarily born in this plane, but you are an Latrine, right?
Yes, my generations back, I do believe they would have originated, well, not here in Feydark, and up above. I don't believe Eladrin particularly liked it down here overall.
And then she acknowledged you in Druidic. And she's like, so what is, how someone like with your nature ends up like this, and points out at your almost perfect outfit from a city boy working in almost, she will see you working in an office, almost like being trapped. She's like, don't you miss it?
I like my comforts and my conveniences, and you know, a nice bed and warm for half, and I appreciate the study of my lineage and the fascinating world that is the Fey realm, but I just it is all just quite impossible to me.
To be out here, or not to be inside?
I like it inside, and I love learning and teaching and showing people what this incredible place is, but I like talking about it and not being out in it.
As long as you're not afraid, because let me tell you, there's nothing to be afraid. I mean, yeah, Gorgonar, but I'm talking about be free and outside and sleep under the stars.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm sure I'm not afraid of the outside or sleeping on the grass or walking without shoes on. No, it is all. No, it's incredible and beautiful. And he leans in closer. It's just not for me. I don't think. But I'm here now, and one can only be positive moving forward.
That is very true. That is
and also
true.
Shit scared. But
we only have the here and now. You keep walking, and she kind of tried to keep tabs on every one of you, just making chit chat about it. You don't know if she is, well, I guess Professor Jack says Garnot and testimonial. You don't know if she is analyzing you, but we know with the previous insight, you are suspicious of everything. That just to keep it, just to be sure, just in case, you interpret her actions as she is taking like an inventory of your abilities and everything. So it's becoming more and more suspicious that what real intentions are from this person. Anyways, there is some point where it just takes like a little bit too long, and it's too quiet. It's like, are we lost again? But then testimonial is just like, wait a minute, haven't been. I just like, no, don't worry, don't be paranoid. And could you please make me an investigation check?
An investigation check right away, comparing with my notes, and we have a 25.
So you notice that you haven't actually been walking that much, but it's actually the roots of the bridge that is the one that has been moving. And with a little bit more of attention, you can just follow the trail, very faint trail of what's it called, fungi over some of the roots, and you can see two massive trees at your side just walking next to you, and it's a thing that is sort of transporting you over the top of this bridge made of roots. And at some point, all of you just feel like suddenly stop, just like when the bus suddenly stops in a crossing, and Sarah goes, "Oh, here we are." Unfortunately, there is two options: whether we swim across the swamp, or we go across the plain. And let me tell you something. There is dangerous things in the water, but there is someone in the fields that will be happy to see Winnow, if you know what I mean.
All good adventurers swim at every opportunity. This is known. I don't like your tone on someone happy to see me.
To play devil's advocate, though, Sarah said there's many dangerous things in the water, but said there's only one thing that's going to be happy to see you in the fields.
Yes, but I feel like a true we're doing an adventure by the book. We have to get this right at every opportunity, and I think that means swimming. If you want to go in the field and go against my advice, we can do that. We can totally do that. I'm just saying how I would do it.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I would be more than happy to follow your lead on this. If I've seen the way that you swim, so if you think swimming's the best option for us, I'm all there for it. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, I remember Testimonial's dive.
Well, I mean, that was the dive into the unknown. This seems like a flatter expanse. Does it look shorter than the plains? I turn to Sarah. Which distances gets us to our destination quicker?
It is just which danger you want to face.
And do you join us on this venture? Do you continue to accompany us, or are we?
No. This is up to what I get.
This is where. Who should we be seeing on the other side, wherever this other side is?
Most likely Gorgonar.
Most likely Gorgonar.
I feel like I could wait.
Let's see.
Is there not a clever, tricksy way we can avoid both of these options and do something else? Is that not the adventurer's way?
We should be clever.
One fly.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't fly. I can swim quite well, funnily enough. But generally, I prefer it in the private spa pool. A swamp sounds terrifying.
When you say that, you see some steam coming out of the swamp. You don't know if this is gaseous decomposition or maybe it's warm inside. Who knows?
Can we see the other side of the swamp? Can we see the destination? Our destination, or is it just like swamp?
No, you can see like at some point a trail again.
Okay.
Oh, so we don't have to fully swim then.
If you can float, I guess you can just go through it.
I mean, the field seems like the easy option, so I feel like there's a trap there.
Oh, definitely.
We know.
I believe. Now I'm thinking the other way.
But remember, whatever they say, do the opposite. But then do the opposite of that, because what they're expecting is for you to do the opposite. And then, hold on, I've got myself confused. And then if you do the opposite, and then you double bluff back, you don't do as they say.
Okay, Hesty, can you get a whiteboard out and we can do a diagram to see if we can figure this one out?
Brainstorm, I love these.
Flip over to a clean page in the book. Pens for everyone.
Is there any like fallen down logs or anything anywhere we could like make a boat, like a raft or something out of, and sort of paddle our way across?
I guess if you take time, you can chop off one of the. I mean, it will take a long time, but I guess you can try.
Oh, I think Sarah will appreciate that if we start chopping up trees.
I can get to the other side on my own without swimming. I have a capacity with the spell Thunder Step.
However,
I can't bring anybody with me.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable letting you go over there and potentially get attacked by a construct before we can get to you.
But they won't know who
90
I
feet.
am.
I think with 90 feet you could reach the other side.
It sounds rather loud, that does.
It does sound rather loud. Aye. Is a thing that happens.
I believe I'm going to say this, but I do actually know I could turn myself in. I could transform into a creature that would probably be able to keep track fairly well of what is going on underneath the spell, underneath the swamp, by turning into a certain creature. It could be potentially very helpful. I don't want to, but I could do it. And if I went first, and I was under in the waters of the swamp, I could give you some friendly warnings about things to either avoid or eviscerate in our travels, or to the other side, maybe?
It sounds like we're going with the swamp.
Sounds like it. So Professor, you're going to scout ahead as your animal form,
Yes,
is that right?
I will turn myself into a creature, but I will only be going maybe 5-10 feet, and the warning of whether there's something there or not will be me returning to the very rear of you all and hiding behind you all.
I'd just like to say that's actually very, very cool. I like that. That's very, very cool.
Yes, well, just bear with me. And he gets one of the books out of his bag, and you can see this like atlas of Faerun monsters and creatures, and he goes through it and he's like, I've seen one before, I'm sure I've definitely seen one before, and he begins like trawling through this book, and it's this like incredibly detailed, unnecessarily complicated book of animals and their anatomy and everything like that, and he's going through it, and this honestly takes like 10 minutes. Because he doesn't go to the front and like look in the contents and find the creature. He goes through every single page until he finds the one he's looking for. And he looks for yes. Garnet, good sir, could you just hold this open on this page in front of me so I can prepare myself?
I hold it, but the back of the book, the front and back of the book is facing you to start off with.
My good fellow, if you just could turn it around.
Oh, but it's fine. It was a pretty picture, but go on in. I'll turn it around.
And I believe these are called crocodiles. I've seen one before. And he begins to slowly warp and spin and poof into a crocodile, and sort of slithers into the swamp water. And I guess I'll begin to have a look around.
Winnow is just kind of next to Garnot, and she's like, I remember I could do that when I could do that with people.
But you could turn people into crocodiles?
No, I could turn myself into other people.
Wait, what? That's really
Let's
cool.
go!
Yes.
Start
So
wading forward.
how big? Okay, take me through what you want to do with the crocodile.
So the crocodile has not the best passive perception. It has a passive perception of 10, but it has swim speed of 30. I can hold my breath for 15 minutes. And basically, I'm just assuming, because it's one of its natural habitats, I can go through as a crocodile, do a little bit of scanning.
Is it a large, huge?
It is a standard size one. I do not have access to a giant crocodile yet.
Okay, so it's medium one. Okay. So all of you see how transformation happens in front of you, and Professor Jax's / crocodile. They did slide into the water. And the first thing that you realize is that from the first time that you arrive, the temperature is not like freezing cold, but it's much more colder than where you were before. Obviously, you are on the ground, so makes sense. But these waters are actually warm, not boiling, but they are warm. And I guess we call them swamps because the water is dark, but it's not because it's dirty, just because of the lack of light. So of course, there is branches here and there, not like crystal clear water, but it's not dirty. So you start moving on. If you try to get really low, you notice that it's not that deep. It's probably 8 feet or 10 in the deepest. But at some point, could you please make me a dexterity saving throw?
Okay. That is D20. Oh, not the best dex. That is a 4.
You bump with something, and you take where are you? 7 points of fire damage.
Oh.
And then you feel this movement in the water, like if you all actually see 2 waves or 2 sources of movement in the water, the ones that are outside. You might not be able to see much, but with a little bit of reflection of light in the water, you can see that some points were from still to there is something moving on in S figure. You bump to this thing, but you feel like the thing moves away and you can still go in. With 30 feet of movement, you are a third, or probably about halfway to the other side. So let's say you are almost in the middle of this thing.
I probably wouldn't go too far away from the group if they're not following. He'd probably wait to see their feet through the water following before he'd go any further. Max like 20 feet away from them at any point.
As you keep going, you feel this time something that doesn't quite bumps to you, but just slightly touches the back of your tail. Probably you feel a similar sort of sensation. So your tail will be like this, and you feel a similar body sort of swimming next to you. And let's see. Is this thing 5 feet. Yes, you take all the 7 points of damage as you start feeling now.
And do we see his reactions? Are you, Professor? Are you? Are you okay?
The first one would have. I think if it went flittered away, he wouldn't have bothered. But if he's, to be fair, yeah, that's only a 7. So that's lower than my passive anyway.
You clearly know that there is 2 creatures in the water with you, but none of them are being aggressive to you. It's just that every time they come close to you, you feel the heat of their bodies.
Okay. Do they look like they're swimming away, or are they swimming like towards the party?
One is swimming next to you, and the other one is hard to say. Probably stayed back. So it would be between you and the party. One next to you, one between.
Yeah, each time I would have, if it was going to be waiting, I'd want to like pop my head up. You know how crocodiles sort of come up, and sort of turn around, look at them, and like almost like nod in the direction of the thing, and then he'd go back under the water, go to the next thing, and if he sees something else, he would then nod and basically give warnings as he's going to either avoid, and so basically giving them a better path to follow through the water to avoid it best they can.
On the other side, you see how Professor Jaxis just keeps going. There is not, so besides there being damage, the velocity of the speed hasn't changed much, so you have the sense that, oh yeah, he's confident, no danger, although you know that there is these 2 creatures in the water.
After the professor's gone about, I don't know, 15, 20 feet, I kind of do a signal to kind of, let's go.
Yeah, right, yeah. It would be totally evil of us to then choose to go the field way, wouldn't it?
Yes, but I kind of have a vested interest in keeping the professor alive, even, if he's a bit of a hampered, frisky, intellectual type.
Because you want the shoes? Is it the shoes?
It's the suit.
I'll be
Doesn't
honest.
like getting dirty,
I'll be honest. Winnow's been wearing the shoes around their neck for quite a while now, and I've not caught a whiff of anything out of them. So his feet don't stink.
True. Even though he doesn't wear socks.
Which is odd.
Yeah, maybe it's a Galadriel thing.
He's a very nice person, though. Let's go save him.
So I flipped through, while watching him, I've been flipping through my book, and including my spell book, and I was like, oh, I can't believe, so familiar this had happened. I cast Alter Self on myself for aquatic adaptation. So I'm a terrible diver, but I am a sufficient underwater breather. So I just tread into the water, and I've got some webbing between my fingers, and underneath the mutton chops, they sort of flip back, and I've got gills, and they act a little finny. So I'm perfectly happy to swim along and assist in the scouting. And you don't have to worry about me or making a huge amount of noise with the thunderstep.
So the 3 of you is gonna jump. No one has a swimming speed, right?
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay.
I do. It's my walking speed now. It's 25.
Great. So the last thing you see before diving, of course, you're gonna come back to the surface, is Sarah start conjuring like lights or dancing lights, and those dancing lights sort of submerge into the water. And is there when you see those 2 large creatures sort of serpentine with fins that are spiked. And I will ask you to roll for initiative.
Oh no.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah, you scamp.
Did not roll good.
15 for testimonial.
22.
Okay. Ooh, let's see. Remember that we know rolls with disadvantage.
16 then.
8 for Garnot.
8. Good.
14 for the prof.
Evie, can you repeat yours?
16.
Sorry?
16.
16. Nice. All right. And this thing is... So, being the... Even if you feel very tired with your muscles, you still have the sense of duty of, I brought these people to here and they will have to deal with my shit. That still you are the quickest to act. So this is very clear a scenario. There's not much in the water to describe, except that there is probably 40 feet away from you, Professor Jaxis, which is being followed by a marine serpentine, let's call it. This is large, so it will be 20 feet long. And in between you and those two creatures, there is a second creature, which is exactly the same, but it's just they're going like, not in circles, but kind of expectating something. So your movement, except for testimonial, will be halved. So for Winnow and Garnet. And the creature that is in the middle is 20 feet away from you.
Cool. Luckily, my regular walking speed is 45 feet, so I can easily reach the 20-foot away creature.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing they look aggressive?
The one that is next to Professor Jaxis looks more aggressive than the one in the middle.
Okay, and that's between us.
Yeah.
If I try and just go past it to the aggressive one, it's gonna get mardy on me. Educated
and
guess.
you will have to go like a long way to go around. Yes.
I mean, I could go under.
Under, correct.
It's 3-dimensional space. It's swimming.
Absolutely. So with your movement, you will get, I think you will need 3 turns of, or not 3 rounds, but 3 sets of movement. So it could be movement, action, dash. So in one turn, you could be almost on the other side of the creature. And next round, you could get to Professor Jaxis.
So what I could do is I could attack the thing in between us with a stunning strike, hoping it works, and then use my bonus action to dash the rest of the way.
I mean, yes, you could. I'm not happy about that.
Good, then I'm going to do it.
At least you're honest about it.
Okay, cool. I'll give the 2 attacks. So that's a dirty 20 and a 23 to hit.
Yeah, both hit.
Cool. One of them is a stunning strike. So can it make a con save, please?
Con save. What's the DC?
It's only 13.
I got 6.
Haha! Cool. I'll just dump this real quick. Okay, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. Wait, so that's 10, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. 22 points of damage on the thing between, and it is stunned.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bonus action dash to the next one.
Good. Could you please take 7 points of fire damage from that hit? As when you hit, you feel, even before the hit, the water around this creature is boiling. So when your feet hits, you receive some damage. And you will keep going. So Yeah, you can make it to Professor Jax's. So at this point, Professor Jax's, and just behind you there is Winnow, and just next to you there is another creature, which is also going to provoke some fire damage to Winnow. So could you please take another 7 points of fire damage?
Just whenever you're in the vicinity of one of these things.
Yeah. Professor Jaxis. No, sorry. Anything else, Winnow?
I would like to give a reassuring nod to Professor and just like, I got you. I'm here.
How do you describe like dawning dread in a crocodile's eyes?
Picking starts.
Thank you. Next one is testimonial.
I think it's all about the number of bubbles that you blow out as you're going down.
Like in code or something. So we just entered the water. 25 speed. I see Winnow had sucker punched this giant snake looking thing. Knocked it out. So I'm not. It looks stunned, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. So I will use my full movement and a dash to bring me along.
So what is your
perhaps a little bit
speed?
past. My speed is 25.
25. So that would be 10, probably a little bit more. So you will get 25 if you use your action and your movement. So
Yes.
25 total will take.
Testimonial does have a swimming speed.
This is my swim speed.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's-
yeah. Sorry. So that would be 50. With 50, you can go perfectly around the creature in the middle.
Yeah.
Assuming that you have notice. Make me a perception check.
Okay. Noticing is something that I've been famously good at all campaign. And well, it just keeps going. I'm so fixated on my goal that
So you want
I roll
to
another
reach Professor Jack says that on the way you just passed slightly close enough to receive 7 points of damage.
Sure.
And get, I guess you're flanking with the nature of a wizard. You will never get like engaged fully. So you're like 5 or 10 feet on the left of Winnow and Professor Jaxis.
Yeah.
Any bonus action?
The full movement is 25. The bonus action. So I see the other one now. So the other one is kind of in range. How close is the other one to us?
The one that is not paralyzed.
The one that is not paralyzed.
The one that is not paralyzed is melee range with Professor Jaxis and Winnow. That puts you 15 feet away.
Okay. 15 feet away. Okay. So I think I will I swim fine, but don't have a lot to do underwater. So I'll prepare an acid arrow in case there's an attack from that big creature. I want to stand ready.
Thank you very much. Is there any specific swimming style that you use? Butterfly style? Doggy?
It's totally doggy style. Like it's you know, like how you look through cards in a card catalog. I'm primarily using my hands to pull myself forward like I'm rifling through record albums or a page.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next one is the one that is paralyzed, which cannot do anything, right?
Not until the end of my next turn.
So I imagine that is sinking a little bit, not much, but sinking. So let me roll a d4 1. So 5 feet it sinks 5 feet. So Garnot, you would decide to you see with the whole lights now that are in, lighting the map. You can see how it sinks, and there is a little bit of free way to go just close to the surface, and without the need of going underneath or around. And I would say make me a perception check.
Certainly can. That's 13.
Yeah, you see this weird. So when there is this difference of temperature between hot water and cold water, you see this funny effect in the light. So you can interpret it, you can deduce that they heating of the water. Cool, but that will be on your turn. So, but this is the turn of the one that is not paralyzed next to Professor Jaxis. And given that they feel that they are the apex of this pond, they will attack you. But fear not. They will bite you. No, they will grapple you. So could you please, that's going to be a contested one. So I got a 21, and you can use athletics or acrobatics.
That's only a 15, 17.
17. So you are grappled. So your speed is 0, and you take 7 points of fire damage.
I pop back into Professor Jax's form.
Great. So Professor Jaxis, you are grappled.
Who immediately begins to scream.
And that is going to be its turn.
Not entirely sure if he's more upset about being grappled or the fact that he's now wet.
My shoes. Oh, your book. I imagine that your book is like. I imagine like a.
Oh, my books are definitely in like a leather seal. Like
Ziploc.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next one is Professor Jaxis. It's your turn.
I am going to bonus action phase step and teleport 30 foot to an unoccupied space I can see. So I imagine that probably is in the direction of where we're trying to go.
You see like an improvised deck that after a few meters, it becomes again a clear and nice path made of roots.
I will teleport there and I get an effect. The creature needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
I don't think they are really with it. They are not. For a 3.
They are now frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
You're just that angry at being wet.
Yes. As the I imagine the phase step as a winter Eladrin is almost that's probably why it's frightened, is his body is replaced by like an ice replacement. So he leaves, but his full body shape is still there in like a block of ice. And so it's like grappled around some ice, and I imagine because it's a heat creature, that immediately would scare it. And then for my action, he will shout. I'll try to stop them. Get out of there, we know. Get away from it. And he will cast Entangle. I'm going to see if I can try.
So it was Misty Step a feature? Because,
Yes,
I mean, you
it's not a
still
spell.
cast
Yeah.
a spell.
Yeah, it's not a spell. It's a class feature. I don't believe it counts, but I'll double check.
Yeah.
One bonus action. Phase step.
Yeah, face step, I think is.
Yeah, phase step isn't the normal spell version. It's its own thing. Not Misty Step.
Yeah, no.
The spell version. So it wouldn't count as casting, I don't think.
No.
No. Awesome. And I will attempt to cast Entangle and see if I can grapple this one back and give Winnow an advantage or an escape.
They both fit, if that helps.
Oh, yeah, then I'll try and get them both. Perfect.
Now the question is...
I'll throw out, and it's the roots of all the swamp trees or roots. The trees, sorry, I don't know what I'm trying to think of, like what fauna I'd use to entangle them with.
What kind of save is it?
It is a strength saving throw.
Strength. Just let me double check about Evie. What is the condition? Is it paralyzed or stunned?
Stunned.
They are or be stunned. No.
I don't know if they just auto fail.
Let me see. Conditions. Stunned. Stunned creature is incapacitated. Say conditions. Creature automatically takes strength and dexterity.
Nice.
So the one in the middle, did you see like whatever? I'd imagine that the Venus Swan probably, lotus. So it's a very spiky kind of root starting to engulf in this creature. Don't pull it completely, but they sink again, and they're gonna stay there 10 feet away from the surface. The one that is not paralyzed will make the save. Strength for a 14.
That fails. It is restrained as well.
So this one is restrained.
Yes.
Restrain is 0. They cannot move. Attack with advantage, disadvantage, and disadvantage on dexterity saves. Cool. I mean, not for me, but well.
He holds his staff out and he sort of dug it into the wet soil to try and spread out these spiky growths, and then he'll shout out, "They're both grabbed! Get over here as quickly as possible!"
Beautiful. So that is Garnot. You're next.
So, how far is it to the other end of the swamp where we need to get to?
60 feet. So
60 feet.
20 feet from you is the first creature that is now sinking.
Yep.
40 feet is Winnow and another creature that is entangled. And another 20 is the deck where Professor Jaxie is. So just think 20, 20, 20.
Cool. And are we wading through this? So is it like up to my waist, or am I actually proper swimming through it?
Proper swimming.
Proper swimming through it. Okay. I'm gonna sink under the water. I'll be with you in a sec. I'm gonna sink under the water a little bit, and you watch as what would normally be white psionic energy that would form around Garnot is actually purple now, and it begins forming around me. And I just burst out of the water towards a nearby tree. I land on the tree, and I hop between the different trees 60 feet and land next to Professor Jaxis as I use my telekinetic thrust and basically anime style jump through the trees.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure there's a cyan that uses purple aura. I know there is a blue one, but I know. I'm just loving the image of Karna just going super saiyan, just burst into it. Thank you very much for that indeed. As you jump to the other side, you land superhero 3 points pose next to Professor Jax's, you can see both of you what is left on the combat, which is 2 creatures being entangled. We know Testimonian in the still on the pond. But doesn't seem there is much movement except for the one that is not paralyzed, just fighting against these vines that came from underneath.
I do still have an action because that was a bonus action.
Absolutely.
So how far is Testimonial away from me? 30 or 40 feet?
30 feet.
30 feet, okay. I'm just going to look to Winnow and go, I know you can get here quick enough, Winnow. I'll see you in a minute, all right? And as I land next to Professor Jaxus and this aura is around me, my eyes glow bright purple, and I reach my hand out to the Testimonial and I go, "You've seen me do this before. Just let it happen, mate." And I'm going to telekinetically move Testimonial up onto the deck with us.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Nice.
what? I feel like I'm pulled massively backwards, like a puppy out of a pool. Plunk down.
It's one of those things where I pull you out, and you're like going, "Ah," and I just step to the side and let you and Jaxus just crash into each other.
Wow.
Thank you, Grant. This must be how Roger feels. And
most of the time, yes.
I will.
But that now is my turn.
As 3 of you on this improvised deck are safe and sound, the 3 of you see how the lights under the water, they suddenly disappear. And when you look back to the other side of the deck, there is this massive figure. It almost looks like a statue. We know you are on water, but the other 3 are getting familiar to quickly identify these tattoos. And this sort of statue has one of them. And you just notice how on the right hand they have a short sword and is being thrusted into Sarah's back. So this creature is impaling Sarah. And Professor Jaxus, you hear in your mind in Druidic, you should wake up. And this figure just lifts the corpse on the floor and points at Winnow. He's gonna attempt to throw at you a short sword, which is not made for that, so it's gonna be at disadvantage. Pew, 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 pew. 12.
Does not hit. And if it did, I might have been able to catch it anyway.
Oh, very true. You just feel how this short sword starts spinning towards you. And actually, imagine that it doesn't harm the creature that's entangled, but it just hits one of the roots and stays there. And you can see that the short sword is very large. It's like so short for a massive creature. And there is where we're gonna go to our break.
Ooh. Oh, it's exciting.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you after the break. Bye.
Bye.
And we are back. We have finished our consumables, we have finished our short rest, and we are ready for some more rolls and shenanigans against the DM, because that's what we are here for, right? On the first half, we met a lovely NPC who has give us another nuances about what is happening here with Gorgonar. We know there was also a nice conversation with Professor Jaxis and this NPC called Sarah. Then we were faced with a decision. Shall we face the dangers in the plains or shall we face the dangers in the swamp? And we decided to go with the swamp. And then you magnificently deal with the danger, or at least half of it. And let's see where we are now after this new menace has appeared in the field. This large statue-like creature, who also wears a tattoo, has just killed Sarah. And yeah, that is where we are. We know you've been treated with a short sword. That is more like a normal sword for given the size of this other creature. But nothing happens yet, except for you being really close to our creature, so you could please take 7 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And both are restrained, so it means that you could move freely without having any opportunity attack if what you wish is just jump out of the water.
Yes, I would like to do it in the most impressive and fliptastic fashion because everyone's been showboating and I will not be upstaged, goddammit.
Yeah. So you jump out of the water.
Literally like a swing on the leg of the thing to kind of come up and then onto my hands and kind of backflip over like, well, that was surprisingly, oh my god, there's the statue over there.
Nice. We're still technically in combat, but you could just run away if you wish, because there is enough space between you and this other creature. The creatures in the water are restrained, so it's up to you what you want to wish. And all of this was just part of your movement, so you still have action and bonus action.
I would like to pick up testimonial and just say, let's go, keep going, and run.
I'm picked up, so there's no resistance there. But I'm looking at Sarah. Is Sarah dead? Bad?
Yes.
Is she like looking mad at the robot, like the
Yeah.
construct, or?
But you have the impression for what she was talking that she believes in this sort of cycle of life and just being that part of the next step and go back to the nutrients of the earth.
Okay, so just confirm. Yes. Let's widow.
Oh, that's sad. But yeah, let's go. Professor, do you want a hand?
Well, you don't have to tell me twice.
He's already gone.
Great. So let me just see. We said 60. I don't think there's a way for my creature to catch you. So what we're gonna say is we are out of combat. Congratulations. But there's probably this thing following you. Who knows? We'll see. As you keep walking, the scene gets a little bit more cavey. So there's the presence of trees sort of start diminishing, and the little few greens that are around are like more like bushes. And at some point, those bushes turn into just dead pieces of just branches instead of bushes. You definitely notice the change of vibe in the air, how we went from this chaotic but dark Feywild to this barren scenario where there is little few features to notice. It's more like a desert now, but not like with massive sand dunes. It's just nothing.
Professor Jax is, I guess, at this point, it's all changing. We'll go over to everybody, and he with his long, simplistic staff, he goes over and just feel like this is a good moment, and he will tap Winnow's boots, each one of them with the staff, and then he'll walk over to Testimonial and tap his boots, and go over to Garnet and tap his boots, and you notice underneath the boots, moss begins to grow underneath and like wrap around your shoes. As I cast Pass Without a Trace.
Oh, nice. Great. So you will be essentially impossible to track at this point. Great. If we know that wink, something could be following you plus a plus 10 to your stealth. So good. Thinking. I love my players to be paranoid. And it's so given the fact that it's just probably just a flat surface what you have in front of you, of course hiding might be just not suitable because the only thing could do is hide one behind another, but still this place is quiet, but with the moss and everything, no soul knows you are there. But we know you've been told that most likely Gorkonor will be waiting for you close. Ahead. And
Can I take out of my pack a bandage, because I have a physician's kit and herbalist stuff just on me at all given times, and wrap it around my tattoo just in case any eyes peep out at me to spy?
I love it. I just love it. Absolutely. So you can see all of you how Window start wrapping around some cloths or pieces like and something strange happened. You feel like some sort of relief, as in if there was a little bit of stress onto you, we know now that you covered the tattoo, it's like, oh, I can breathe a little bit like lighter, just like, oh, I can it feels nice. It's a little bit comforting to some degree. Garnet, you on the other hand, you are again a little bit dragged or drawn to one direction. I mean, the direction is always ahead because it's really hard to say what is right and left here where everything is just flat. And this time is different than the previous time because you are conscious. Previously, you were unconscious of how this present is calling to you. And you hear some whispers, but those whispers are in a language that you don't know, but that you have heard before. You have heard some of those noises in the cave before when you were near small terrain. So you quickly do the maths, like, oh, there is someone talking to me in deep speech, but it's only you.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting those sort of, it's not so much a headache, but it's just like, I just feel a bit sort of fuzzy and heavy in my head at the minute. It feels like people are talking to me in that language, that speech deep or deep or deep speech or whatever it was you said it was before.
What does it sound like? Like moan it out.
Right. It sounds a lot like. I don't know how it sounds like it's like a cat throwing up a hairball.
Garnet, make me a performance check.
+0. Oh, 13.
It's not terrible, but we know that you have witnessed this from the other side. You just go like, that's not how it's no. But I mean, testimonial would no. Sorry, testimonial. It's hard to say exact words. I mean, for you right now, it's random words. Potato, window,
Gotcha.
shoes.
Gotcha. So there's something that I recognize, but
Yeah.
the sense of it doesn't make sense. Okay.
Doesn't make any sense.
Garnet, thanks for trying, and I hope that we find a way to break the pressure.
It feels like a heavy pressure sense on my head, like it feels like something's being compacted together. But I feel like I'm being pulled as well. Is that what was happening before?
Maybe, but we know who's ahead, so it may be clear who's doing the pulling now.
It could be. I don't quite understand what Grogorog would want to do with me, though.
No, I do not know what their game is at this stage. They want to get to me, but I don't know why they're messing with you.
I don't
Do you
know.
have any connections to Gorgonor? Have you made any deals or pacts with anybody in the past?
No, not made any deal. The only connection I can think of that I might have would be the fact that I'm also from the Fae. I'm from this place. So, but then there are many, many, many creatures on the material plane that are from here as well. So it might just be, if I'm honest, it might just be because of my connection to you, Winnow. They might be able to get their hooks into me easier and are able to lure me there, which would then bring you as well, because, you're nice enough to not leave me to sort of wander off on my own.
I think I just come to a little decision. I'm just going to announce so I can hold myself to it. This is my last adventure. I'm not bringing anyone else into this bullshit. Something always goes wrong, and now some otherworldly force is luring you innocent people into but you need protecting.
What do you mean by everything always goes wrong? Hey, you've.
So we need to make a flashback here. Thank you for bringing that to the table. And we are thrown 2 weeks ago. We are in Smolteran, and you are in a nice pub. It looks more like the headquarters of a guild, adventure guild, and it's called the Heralds of Fortune. In a large table, there is a group of adventurers who might have just come back from a successful mission, and they are celebrating on the left. Opposite side of the table, there is some figures that we might or not totally recognize. We have a turtle person, Mr. Cassell. We have a small squirrel, Robert the Squirrel. A small individual looks mechanical, knows, and they go by Syrah. Next to it, Winnow, who we know, and a new face, Professor Jaxes. And they're having a conversation about a mission that is basically about Mr. Cassell telling you that, I know you, Winnow, and Syrah, you want to track down Seraphine. Seraphine being this other artificer who also created another creature with the soul of this aberration. And they are explaining to you, Professor Jaxis, that there is 3 constructs out there, Sarah being one of them, Warforge and a Steel Defender, who are powered by the heart of, or like a power source like that came from an aberration. they split this into 3 parts. One is in Zira, one is in the Steel Defender, and one is in the Warforge. Now, Mr. Cassell also tells you that if you want to contact Seraphine, there is an item that you can collect in one of my, I'm gonna say secure home, but it's more like a deposit, like one of those like in the banks where you go and there is like specific boxes for each of the clients, very top secret, very safe. That item belonged to Seraphine, and then you could scry on her, or you can even try to find other means to contact her with that item. But I know that is not in your powerhouse, Winnow, or Zira, so you might need the help of a wizard, maybe a druid. So that's why we think Professor Jaxis might help here. Professor Jaxis and Winnow, you know each other from before, don't you?
From the guild, yeah.
You were so what did steal you away from the last adventure? Not that I'm complaining.
I do believe I had the flu in the end. And then I had a very important paper I had to hand in, and it would have meant that I would have arrived a day late, and I wouldn't have been able to, grade all the papers and hand them back in. Yes, not to paper to hand in. I had to grade a load of papers for someone. A group of people.
That's good. Do you have any more papers that you need to be grading? That might interfere with you helping with this. Maybe you could be more of a removed aspect.
I would be happy to do research for you if that would be more important and, useful for you. I could go and, I'd take one for the team and miss out on, the fantastical rewards of going on an adventure with a group of people. But just for you, I would go and I would do the hard research and, yes. And then also my lovely students won't be without me for a longer period of time.
Professor need to come with us, or can we just deliver the scrying materials? Keep this small.
Yeah, it's relatively small, but this location is close to this forest that is well known for being close to the Feywild. So if you could get lost, Professor Jaxis would absolutely, with his immense knowledge of the Feywild, will be able to help you to, get back on track.
Is that true?
That is absolutely correct. But even let me do you one better. And he goes into his bag and he gets a book of Professor Jaxis's Guide to the Feyrealm. If I just pass you, you can use these, and it's like you've got your very own professor right with you at all times. And then I can continue to do all the things you need me to do here. Obviously, I'd be heartbroken to not be with you, but I can do all the jobs for you, and you can use.
No, I think maybe this is the sign. Maybe things would have been different if you had made it onto the last mission. Maybe this is a sign that we really do need your guidance. If you're such an expert, you'll stop us getting lost.
Mr. Cassell from One Bag produces a scroll and give it to you, Professor Jaxis. This is a scroll of scrying. So like, even if you have all your resources depleted, you can just use this to scry on Seraphine. The item that you're gonna find there, of course, is theirs, but I would rather have it back. No rush. You do you. I know you are very capable adventurers. So I'm trusting you this. We will keep holding information about everything else. But yeah, I think for now it's time for you to go.
Before we go, I just kind of pull Jaxus in quite close. Now listen very carefully. I know you're an expert. You've been to the Feywild many times. You know this place. Do not move out of 20 feet from me. I will protect you and I will keep you safe no matter what happens, okay?
Yes, understood.
Okay.
After that, you start your journey, and there is something really weird. This memory for both of you is quite vivid. It's like, oh yeah, I have this top of my mind. But then at some point, like 1 or 2 days before you reach this location, this secure place, there is like a really fuzzy memory of you. It's like, if you don't remember, you cannot remember. And the most important thing, you don't remember how you got to the hut in the forest for the first night. We go back to the question, what happened to the party?
I'm sorry, I blanked out for a second. Where were we?
So that was a memory, and now we're back in the Feydark.
Yeah.
And Professor Jaxis has just made you a question. What happened to the rest of the party?
Oh, you mean in the mission before?
Yes.
What the one that you had to grade papers for?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That was the reason.
You sure you want to know?
Does it involve more constant dread and fear for my own safety, if I was to know?
Undoubtedly.
No, I believe it could be like, it could potentially answer future questions that we may come across later. As much as I don't want to know.
Okay. Before I'll tell the story. It was an accident. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. So we were on our way back. We had the scroll that we were going to get, and we got set upon by bandits. Standard fare. Fight them off, get back. It's like normal adventure stuff. But they just overwhelmed everyone in the party, and they went down one by one by one, on all of them unconscious. The bandits went. They were defeated in the end. I was just there, and they were breathing. They were fine, and I tried my best to heal them. I tried to use my hands of healing, but I don't know. I panicked, and then before I knew it, they were dead, and I'd failed, and then I later found that I couldn't use my changeling powers anymore, and the guild's gonna have to tell their families, and I'm gonna have to live with this forever, and they're not gonna have to live with this because I killed them. It was an accident, and now all of this is happening because I think it was Coco was the warlock with a contract with Gorgonor. And they're one of...
You didn't have the contract originally with Gorgonor?
No, they gave me a tattoo just to use some eldritch power. But Gorgonor has just taken interest in me because of my mistake. My big mistake.
Oh. Well, obviously it's incredibly sad, but it's not as bad as you kind of premised it, because I'm struggling to understand how it's your fault.
It wasn't
Gentlemen, am I missing something here? It doesn't sound like we know it is your fault. Maybe you were unfortunate, well, what is it? The Survivor's Guild. It's not your fault you survived longer than everybody else, and it certainly is not your fault that you weren't able to heal them. Any extenuating circumstances are relevant.
I should have been able to heal them. I literally have hands of healing. I punch health into people, but I just panicked.
But the idea of it not working isn't your fault. It sounds like whatever's happened to you's fault, i.e., this rather unsavory character, Gorgonor.
Which is why I've not been wanting to bring anyone else into this.
No, that seems reasonable, and I'm rather disappointed I ended up on the shortlist. But we can move on from that. We have a pathway in front of us, and if that pathway means that the next group that you're with, or us, may survive because you have your full power back, then we best go and deal with this. Well, yourself, Garnet, and Testimonial best go deal with it, and I'll stand at the back and cheer you on in this absolutely horrific, terrifying place. But I think, well, you can't keep looking back. And mum's the word. I don't know how much you've told the guild, but I don't know anything. This is your pathway to deal with. I don't think punishment from the bureaucracy of that bloody place. Although I quite enjoy it when I get to write out those ridiculously long testimonials. They're very fun, but I do believe people find them very tedious and unnecessary. But I won't put that in if you do not wish me to. I'm sorry that the people around you were lost. Seeing people dealing with loss, things like that, especially as someone who's supposed to be a teaching figure, is very heartbreaking because it's next to impossible to teach someone how to handle things like that. It's very difficult. But I have to say, the fact that your protective instincts have got nothing if not more powerful in the brief times I've known you, and the even briefer times we have been in combat together, is a real testament to you refusing to let the shortcomings that Gorgonor has put on your power, as you are still fighting ferociously. I believe you should still be very proud of yourself, and we'll do what we can to solve this problem immediately. I hope.
Thank you. I'm trying my best, and I've become a little overprotective of my party members and a bit resentful in the past.
I don't mind. You can protect me all you want.
We were on a mission with a bard and an astral guru before, and I may have been a bit too harsh on them for putting themselves in imminent danger. But I didn't want to fail again, and they were making it very easy to fail, in my defense. But you've all proved yourselves very capable in your own rights. Okay, Garnot, Testimonial, now that you know you're traveling with an unintentional murderer, are you still okay to continue?
I agree with the professor. Nothing of this sounds like it's your fault. So you, of course, stand by your side. You
exactly. At the end of the day, I think you're awesome. So yeah, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It's not your fault. You know, as I said to you before. You know, I'll go wherever you go, and I'll do the best protecting that I can. I haven't always been the best at protecting people, but I will definitely be there to protect you if you need me. I would also like to say though, Professor, that you should stop being so like down on yourself, like saying I'm going to stick back and let the rest of us. Yeah, I've seen a lot of what you can do since we woke up at that hut, and there's something in you. There's more bravery in you than what you're.
No. I'm very happy at the back, and don't ever feel like you need to, encourage me forwards. I'm very much more comfortable staying well away from the danger. But very, very kind of you. Very kind of you. But
you might be more comfortable staying away from the danger, but when the danger does come for us, you've been stepping up. So, don't knock yourself, because you're definitely not a coward or anything like that. All right, you're a solid guy. All right.
Yes.
You might be a crocodile on the inside. It's just as you were a brave crocodile on the outside.
That's actually fantastic. Put that in your testimonial thingy that you were just talking about.
Or a quest. Oh, I haven't gotten one of those before.
as you keep uplifting each other, which is absolutely beautiful, guys. There is a point where your words sort of, it's like you go mute, like you can see your lips moving, but it's like, and everybody notices that, like, what the hell is going on? And you feel this sort of like cold air coming from everywhere, even for the winter latrine. This is like, okay, this is getting really cold. And you hear like a laugh, like very nasal. And the laugh is, given that this open space has not much where to, for sound to come back, or like there is no good acoustic here. The laugh just loses itself in the infinity of this place. And is there when you notice that you are not alone in this place? Hundreds of figures sort of approach to you from the shadows, and all you can see is like big grins, white teeth, all the kind of species that you can imagine, from dragonborns to human small creatures. You can say halflings or gnomes, maybe some kobolds out there, and every now and there is those white eyes that you have seen on Ebony's tattoo, and you feel finally this presence behind you that keeps laughing and says, "Come on, we know, don't listen to them. It was clearly your fault." And as you turn over, there is this avatar of this creature. You have seen it before in your dreams, but it always changes. Probably it's actually mocking you, the fact that they can shift the shape. At this time, they look like average Joe, humanoid, short hair, slightly, I don't know, they're in the 40s, quite slender, but really well dressed in what could be like a 3-piece suit in black. And he's there just standing. It's not even, it's probably your size. So, no. How tall are you, we know?
Like 5'10", something like that.
Yeah, like 5'10". It's not, it's probably 5. It's nothing that you see on the street and you say like, oh, that guy is gonna mock me. So there is what we can deduce is the avatar of Gore.
Winnow's gonna just kind of take off their mask, just kind of throw it down, wipe away some dark tears that have been coming out through the performance. So, okay, well, we're here. What do you want?
Every Fae wants to hear those words. Listen, whether or not was your fault, we can discuss at eternity. That's right. I lost one of my most appreciated warlocks, and I want you to take her place.
Now, why would I do that?
I actually don't have anything to leverage on you, but listen, if you accept, I will free the rest of the people from my influence. You will not have to suffer being haunted by them and have to kill them, because at the end, all of them have families and people who will miss them. Because you still miss Coco, right?
Yeah. You know I
And
do.
somebody will miss Ebony. Someone will miss Sarah. So, one life, yours, in exchange of the hundreds of lives that I will keep sending after you. Actually, some of them are willing to go after you. I know it might not be your fault, or it might be your fault, but they are so angry at you.
Well, that's no choice at all, really, is it?
I mean, you can always say no. It's a deal. We fucked up with people, but there is always your choice.
I've already ruined the lives of the families of all of my previous party. Are you really gonna do this for me for a mistake that I am paying for? That I am so. Are you really this petty?
Listen, I'm not here for you to understand the nature of my being, but I guess the answer is yes. I suffer and I'm still hurting, so I want you to hurt with me. So yeah, it's petty. I should go to therapy, but for now this will do.
I'm gonna turn to Professor and to Garnot and to Testimonial. I'm just gonna sigh, say, tell Sarah I'm sorry. Professor, you protect her now. Okay? You help her. Okay?
Yes.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute, Winnow. Excuse me, mate. Right.
Oh,
Question.
I know you. Have I seen you before? Different hairstyle? I mean, it suits you.
Thanks. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but I got a question for you. Yeah. This whole what's the fascination with Winnow? Not that Winnow isn't an amazing person, because they are, but why is it that you want Winnow? Why isn't somebody else's life acceptable to you?
Well, in part is because I think, or I hold her accountable for what happened. Personally, I hold her accountable. And second, they have amazing abilities, which will come handy at some point, because we know what is coming.
Right. Okay. So, and I'll take it this thing that's made everybody so angry and want to sort of kill Winnow is the death of this person called Coco that's been mentioned a couple of times. Is that right?
Yes.
And from my understanding, from what Winnow has said, the tattoo was transferred from one to the other. So if another life was to put itself up there for you to take, another one with maybe abilities different to Winnow's but still quite powerful, would you accept that instead?
Clearly not. As I said, I have grown dear for Winnow, and they are amazing.
They are
Do you
amazing.
think there is another amazing person just as Winnow? I don't think even Winnow thinks there is another amazing person like them.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really too, and I'm sort of directing this to him and to Winnow. I'm not too happy with the idea of you giving yourself up to this thing. I mean, it might save. It could. It's a Fey creature, right? So it says it's going to save hundreds of people. I don't believe that for a second.
We get it in a written contract?
Inside check if you want.
I will insight check that. 11.
You are right in the sense of Fey. There is not good or bad, but there is always more to their words. Like, even with some wings from Professor Jackson's like, no, don't sign. You know that there will be always these little, like, small letters at the end of the contract about saving these people. I mean, he agrees to liberate them from their influence.
A deal with the Fae always comes at a price, and there's always a loophole that they can try and exploit at some point. No idea what it's going to be in this situation, in this case, but I don't think it will end well for yourself or the other people that have got the eyeball tattoos.
Just think very carefully, because from what I've read, Archfey are very clever. Well, Fey in general, I don't know if this one could be claimed as Arch. It's quite an honor. They are very clever at forming these deals and chances and plays of grandeur in a way that make it sound like there is truly no other option. Think very carefully about what especially this one is saying, and think.
They go, I'm deeply. He goes, I'm deeply offended.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I think this is the first time ever. In fact, no, I am sorry that you're offended, but we can go through the apology circle later. We know there is always a way out. He is going to bend his words cleverly around you and try and make it seem like what he is doing is your best option. And maybe in itself, it might be, but I highly doubt it, if I'm honest.
Have another way out of this? I'm not going to condemn these 100 or so people.
Testimonial.
Yes.
Could you please make me a raw intelligence check?
A raw intelligence check? Okay.
Raw.
I roar. 21.
Oh.
Being an artisan, you haven't done it before, but you have heard and probably witnessed ways to transfer all kind of magic from one item to another magic, from one spell book to another book, from one body to another body. You have seen what we could call laser removal of tattoos.
Yes.
Whatever is
I've scraped my share of vellum.
In medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, it's not easy, and it's very painful. But you know people who has done it.
problem. All of the control is in the tattoos. The tattoos can be removed. Remember how Sarah's eyes lit up. Close the eyes of the tattoo. We have no problem. we can make them go away. I don't think we need this bargain.
We just need
to
to
save all those people.
Not have to kill every single one of them when they come
We don't
out.
have to kill every single one of them. I think there's less control over these tattoos than.
He might be pissed off. He goes and hides behind Garnet.
You really gonna listen to these people? Like, who they even are? I don't think they trust you.
Sorry, my name is Garnot. This is Professor Jaxus, and this is Testimonial. We're now acquainted, so we know each other.
Bueno, make me an insight check, please.
Oh no. Sorry, I got a nat 1. Insight, but it would be +5. But also I'm at disadvantage anyway, but I can't roll any better.
You don't feel intimidated, but you feel like for a second you double guess yourself in the way of how you choose your company. So Syrah has been with you, and then you know that you can trust Syrah. But then it's like, who else can I trust if not Syrah? So for a second you doubt upon Professor Jax's Garnet and Testimony.
No, I think I deserve this. I think I need to do this. You guys, I don't know what your end game is, but I can't figure you out.
End game is to get you out safely.
Is it?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why?
I've done terrible things. I could continue to do terrible things, and if I don't help these people in the mess that I have made, that is doing a terrible thing. You guys, do you want? Well, I don't know what you want.
Looks to the other two for some help.
Where is a charisma-based class?
Oh no.
What do we want to do? We want to help you rewrite your story. We want to you to feel the strength and the confidence that you had before. It doesn't come from that one, and I'm pointing it to Garnet up. It comes from within. I'm going to while I'm talking, hear me out, I'm going to cast Alter Self again, because it allows me to duplicate my facial features any way that sort of remains bipedal. So I'm going to make myself look like Winnow without the tattoo, without the mask and without the tattoo. We want you to feel this way one more time, and I'll be very elaborate. I'll apparate with the tattoo on because it's a physical feature, and I will remove it, and it'll puff away in the air. This is what we want you to step toward. This is what that one can never have. Don't make a deal.
Note for me, I'm gonna give you inspiration for that move. And we know what's going on.
Just rolled for emotional response to seeing you change your form in front of someone who cannot change their form anymore. And it wasn't good.
Oh no!
Just gonna start backing away from everyone. Like, why are you haven't I suffered enough? And just kind of start backing away into the crowd of people trying to disappear. Just very clearly backed into a corner, not knowing where to go, trying to get through somewhere and just go.
So it's at this point where first of all, Professor Jack says, you remember last words of Sarah. You must wake up. And then Winnow, could you please make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, now I roll well. Nat 20.
Oh,
You start moving back and you see these people don't move. They just let you pass. But what you are stepping back and getting lost around it, you found yourself surrounded. And all the eyes looking at you. You feel frightened. But that fear that is not overwhelming, that fear that keeps you that fear that makes you be alert, that fear that you feel for losing someone and gives you drive to do stuff, that fear that is like, I don't want to be this anymore again, that fear that at night, yes, it might be, you might not know what is in the dark, but here you are ready for it. And you just hear, I'm gonna make a really bad impression of Syrah, but you hear Syrah's speech. We know you should know that of yourself. You are a great puncher.
I am great at punching when it hurts people. But I just want to protect. I just want to save them, but I don't even know who to save anymore. Says to the void.
The people looking at you, the people surrounding you, there is people that is angry at you among them. But they give you this look that is like, we understand you. You are hurting. We are also hurting. We don't hold any grudge against you. This is just how things happened. And you have the idea that they are like sort of giving you permission to do whatever you think is best, even if that means a little bit of comfortable for them. While we know are dealing with all these emotions, we go back to Professor Jaxis. At this point, you have just seen the first steps of Winnow into the crowd.
Yeah, he's sort of like looking down, and you can, Testimonial and Garnet, you can see like Jaxis has stopped focusing on Winnow, and he's like, you can see he's whispering something under his breath. He's like, we must wake up. We must wake up. We must. And he sort of looks up. We must wake up. Testimonial, we need to wake up.
Testimonial. Make me a history check, please.
Sorry, a history check?
History check.
History check. With the history check, it is a 13.
13. You always take notes, right? Or
Yep.
like constantly taking notes. You remember being with Garnot far away from this place, arranging that you need to recover one item from from the same sort of safe place.
Yeah.
Or like place with safes. But the closer you both get into the forest, Garnot having those vivid dreams, but your memory is a little bit fuzzy. And same, 1 or 2 days before getting into this location, it's just like if you cannot remember what happened, and then again, even with your notes and your memory, you don't remember how did you get to the hut in the forest.
I can't remember, but I would have written things down constantly. Is it because I find that 2 of the pages in the journal are stuck together? Is there like I would
Make
look
me an
through-
investigation check.
I'll make an investigation check. That's a 23. No, it's a 9. Sorry, the digital dice is cocked. It was very funny.
A what? A 9.
It's a 9. It's a 9.
A 9. You have this bad habit that sometimes you use post-its instead of writing in your book.
I mean, it's an
But
emergency.
one of those cases.
Oh no.
But post-its are like, okay, I need to action on this tomorrow. This is like urgent. So if something was missing, something really important on those posts, you just missed it. But you know that is really important. Whatever happened between in that first point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'll look to Garnet and be like, Garnet, we must wake up. We need to wake up. What does that mean?
I don't quite know. I'm going to look over to Garganar to see if he reacts to Jax saying we need to wake up.
He looks concerned, but he is always like keeping an eye on you on Winnow, almost like I'm really close to win here. Like there's no reason for me to worry about this. I'm about to win. I'll
turn back to Jax says, right, wake up. What should we do? Do you want to pinch me, punch me? You want to do something like that? I don't know. Does that work?
I could do something incredibly dangerous, but it might work.
Right. Do you want to do that on me then? Just I don't want you to come to any harm. So whatever the dangerous thing is, do it to me.
All right. Close your eyes and think incredibly carefully about the last 2 days that you're missing that are incredibly fuzzy. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to blast Garnet's head with Dispel Magic.
Spell magic.
Ah.
That's all I've got, and I really doubt it's going to work. But and I'm slightly concerned what it might potentially do to Garnet.
So, how does your dispel magic works?
Sort of still that like contrasting emerald green. Like the contrast is quite drastic, especially compared to his very grey and black and white clothes and sort of grey skin. The fact that his magic is this really emeraldy bright colour is quite drastic. But yeah, it almost comes out in rings of pulsating green rings that pulsate out, almost like it doesn't instantaneously dispel something. Almost like each pulse delves deeper and deeper into what the magic is trying to dispel, and slowly like working its way through.
Say as that happens, as that hits my head, sort of thing, and goes to go into my brain, you see like the purple tinges in my hair begin to go white again, and my skin begins to get the brighter red hue. And then when the first pulse disappears, it goes back to the dark colours, and it keeps doing that while you're doing the spell.
Let's say that you were the things that were holding your hair, just for the looks, they get loose, and your hair is just like all messy, like if you were floating or like if you were on the water. Yes, Pantene at here, and almost like if you could see everything in fast forward from the point where you made testimonial and all your way to this place. And you get to this place, there's not much details here that you can grasp in those seconds where weeks of travel happens in front of your eyes. But you end up in this place where you retrieve the item and you meet with Winnow and Syrah, and something happened that Syrah has to leave, and then you go to sleep. And that's the last thing you remember.
So we were with.
And then Professor Jaxis, you see how Garnet disappears. And then Gorgonor. He screeches and looks at you. Oh, you little. So now we have 3 scenes here. Oh my god, my brain.
Oh no.
Garnot. You remember the first scene. Professor Jax is waking up everybody with a screech. With a creature next to Winnow. Now imagine the same, but this is a proper room. Fairly decorated. It's not like super fancy, but you can see a creature next to Winnow's bed, 2 constructs, and the other 2. Back into, let's call it the dream. So back into the dream, Winnow. You hear the screech of Gorgonor. Something is wrong. He's not happy. And you know that you could feel the presence of Garnot, but Garnot, there's something missing. There's something wrong with Garnot.
I'm gonna roll an insight to see. I wasn't focused on their conversation. Okay, yeah, I keep rolling badly whenever it's like, how do I work this out? I'm fine.
You don't notice. The only thing that you heard, Gorgonor screeching.
I assume that Gargonor's gotten impatient and done something horrible to Garnot. So Winnow is going to look at them and say, I'm not letting... No. I'll do it.
They nod at you like... No. They crossed like in disapproval, like they don't speak words, but they just go like, no, don't do it. But you still, Gargonon hasn't hear you. You're still surrounded in the crowd.
Is it the crowd that is looking at me disapprovingly?
Yeah.
I do just say to them, you'll thank me later when you survive. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. Keep yourself safe. Keep Sarah safe. I'll do it. Come get me or whatever. I don't know how this works.
Garnot, you see, the creature haven't noticed you. You're still there, lurking under the bed.
Oh.
You look at Winnows. They are clearly doing something with Winnow, and the other 2 are just pleasantly sleeping.
There's the same situation as in the previous episode where it's 2 constructs and Ebony stood over. Is there any sort of like magic transference being done between Winnow and...
There is some sort of like connection between Ebony's tattoo and Winnow, but Winnow tattoo is on the arm, so the Ebony's tattoo from the neck sort of goes underneath the sheets, and you might assume that touches theirs on the arm.
Really cheeky, really cheeky question. Do I count as being long rested?
Let's say you are not fully rested, but you have some of your resources, like it's not the same situation, the one that you were experiencing in the dream, than the one that you actually put you this day to sleep. So you have more resources that you usually have, or the ones that you actually have.
So I'll sort of look over the sheets a bit, twiddle my hands, and the white energy comes back again, and grab hold of Winnow, and I will telekinetically move Winnow from their bed into my bed, and then I'll roll out as they go in, so that I break the connection between them and Ebony, and I'll roll out of the bed and stand up and be like, I don't think that's actually something you quite want to do there, mate. Maybe we can talk about this. And I'll be stood there to attention, and if we're not in combat, I might just telekinetically move both of Jaxus's and Testimonial's beds to try and wake them up, like sort of throw them out of the bed.
Nice. Thank you. That was great. Back into the train. You all feel this shake. The connection has been broken. You feel, again, a little bit of relief. And some sort of, like, if this would be a book or like made of paper and it starts burning from the top, you can see like that faint red light that is when you burn a paper and it keeps burning without the flame. It just keeps consuming the reality, living like nothing, just black. And we know you see all these figures next to you, some sort of smiling at you, and then they disappear. At this point, it's only you, Professor Jax's testimonial, and I would say what little is left from Gorgonor. Gorgonor is walking to you, some sort of like, you feel like if he reaches you, the deal is done. And he's disappearing, but he's still trying to reach you. What are you gonna do?
Do I have a few seconds to say something before? I turn to Jackson's testimonial and say, when I told you about what happened, I did admit the truth. It wasn't entirely an accident. I gave them mercy when I shouldn't have. It was intentional and it was my fault. And this is my path, and I reach out for the hand.
In that very last moment where Gorgonor avatar is sort of disappearing or being consumed by this unexistent flame, there is a little bit of his hand that grabs Winnow. Would you close it? Would you close the deal with the one with the tattoo, or with the other arm?
I'm right-handed, so preferably with the tattoo.
So remember that you have covered it with some tissues. As you touch his hand, for a second, the body comes back to full consistency. So from alpha 99 to alpha 0. And the bandages fall to the ground, and you can see how his darkness and your tattoo, they link together. And a couple of eyes open on your tattoo, on your arm, as you both disappear. We go back to Garnot. Garnot, you have Wake Up, Testimonial, and Professor Jax's. You both are sort of standing. You quickly come to the realization that you've seen this before and you can deal with this. But this time, we know does not come back to us. And there is where we gonna leave it for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us and being part of tonight's session that was completely a masterpiece from my players. I want to clap for them. If you enjoyed tonight, which I know you did, we play every Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. GMT and 10 a.m. Pacific time. We also play Tuesday also at 6 p.m. GMT or 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can also join us on Friday, again from 6 p.m. GMT or 10 a.m. Pacific time for a Talk Together Out chat show where we interview our players, DMs, and another TTRPG industry voices. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG, and you can find all of our content archive at youtube.com/RollTogetherRPG. There are also podcast versions of all of our shows available everywhere. Search for Roll Together RPG. If you cannot find us, let us know and we will try to upload the content in your favorite platform. Massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. There'll be a link in chat for you to join. Every penny helps us to make this content for you. Big thank you again to our sponsors and supporters. And don't forget, we are all over social media as Roll Together RPG. Thanks for watching and see you very soon.